Wow. Here we go again. All right. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
it?
Good evening.
I don't know. We're on
With the
day
convention
4.
running, it's
Yeah.
a big experience.
Yes.
So first, I just want to introduce myself and sort of, open up this fun and exciting podcast. So this is the Ask, where we turn questions into action. I am Whitney Tome. I am the managing principal of the culture, strategy, and organizational design practice at Raben.
Oh, that sounds impressive.
Just long is more what it feels like. It feels long. But it sort of captures all the things, right? We're trying to shift power to the right people.
Okay.
So people have been historically marginalized.
Okay.
We try to, transform organizations and eventually change society. So, small goals. Small goals.
Light lift.
Like, I'll be done by this evening.
Totally in the job description.
Oh, don't look at my job description. Anyway, let's dive right in. So today I'm delighted that we have Dr. Sesha Joi Moon, who was actually the former Chief Diversity Officer at the U.S. House of Representatives for both the 117th and 118th Congress.
Yes.
You are also currently, which is probably more maybe the sexier part of your job right now because she's like the Congresswoman at the moment, is the chief strategist for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Yes.
And then lastly, you also are the DEI executive in residence at America
Proud Rises leader Stacey Abrams.
So like you doing a little bit of everything and you seem pretty cool. So Dr. Moon, I would love
and tired. So thank you for this topic. Thank you.
We want to make sure our guests are, at least mildly prepared for the rest of their day. So I'd love to hear from you, especially, and I'm going to sort of start maybe in the sort of dark moment, but we'll get to like extreme joy, hopefully by the end of this.
Yes.
Is like, you used to run this office at the U.S. House where it's like, it's the people's house.
Correct.
And your entire office was dissolved.
Yes.
What does that mean for us, for the American people, for this work?
So, little backstory.
Please.
I'm really big on giving credit to those whose shoulders we stand on.
Absolutely.
So this DEI initiative was started well before we even had these 3 letters during the leadership of Harry Reid, who then tapped Martina to then be able to stand up a diversity initiative on the Senate side.
Yes.
That then leads to the development of a Democratic diversity initiative for the full Senate. And then the House follows suit. Under Speaker Pelosi. The very first director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion for the House was a woman named Kimba Hendricks. This was started in March of 2020. And I think it's very important because we saw the influx of DEI, unfortunately, after the murder of George Floyd. But Speaker Pelosi and the Dems stood up this office before then because they understood the urgency behind the moment to make sure that the People's House looked like the people. So we were able to do that work for 4 years. And, I was told by my boss, his name is Jamie Fleet. He's one of the best people I know. Our relationship for me is what DEI looks like. I'm a Black queer woman from Richmond, Virginia. He's a white cisgendered male from Gettysburg. We are not supposed to have come into community with one another.
But sometimes that's where the magic happens.
It's where the magic happens. And he said, you have 6 months, kid, because they hired me. My first day, Friday, Roe v. Wade was overturned. Monday was Juneteenth, and Tuesday was my first day. Yeah. So.
Oh, Lord. Welcome to the job.
Here you go.
Good luck.
But they were very clear. They say you have 6 months. We know for the most part, the House will more than likely flip in this office. This is when DEI was starting to become a political football. And so much so, I go to submit my letter of resignation, not only to Jamie, but to my other boss, Tim Monahan, also really great guy. I'm nonpartisan in how I approach the work, and I'm an independent. I truly am independent. And I said that in my interview. I didn't even know if that was going to be the deal breaker. And so I had cultivated relationships on both sides of the aisle, and so much so that Tim Monahan did not accept my resignation. And he said, I can't guarantee how long this office will last. But between Jamie and Tim, they protected our office so much so that we were able to outlast the elimination for another year and a half. So when CNN broke the news about the office, I don't know if you've ever become breaking news and gone viral.
No.
Not fun.
It's probably
1 star.
a journey.
Wouldn't recommend.
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. One of the reporters asked me if I was mad about it. And I said, no, I'm sad.
Yeah.
This is a sad day for America.
Mm-hmm.
We were helping both sides of the aisle. We helped 227 Republican offices find talent from marginalized communities.
Wait, say that again.
227 member offices, 197 Democratic offices, and over 15 nonpartisan offices. We were ensuring that not just the members, but the people behind the members, the staffers who are walking behind the principals every day, the people at the hearings that are taking notes on the notepads, that they are making sure that legislation reflects everyone's lives.
Right.
And so it was a sad day, but I know this sounds interesting. I was so proud because the work that we did was so effectively nonpartisan that it required an additional 1.5 years to get rid of it.
Right.
And not only that, the functionalities of the office weren't dissolved. They were transitioned into another capability because we weaved our mission into the institutional fabric of Capitol Hill. And so I know that sounds so crazy. It was the best job of my life. And I walk away so proud because the work continues, because it continues in legacy. And I make it clear, somebody told me one day that I was the People's Chief Diversity Officer.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like an emeritus status for me. I will always consider myself that for the rest of my life. And I continue to do this work every single day on behalf of the people. And I said this on Martha's Vineyard at the CDO Summit last week. I've also learned my power wasn't in that position. I feel like I've been even more effective since leaving. I'm doing DEI through Jasmine Crockett.
Right.
I'm doing DEI through Stacey Abrams. I'm doing DEI with you at the Democracy House. This work has not stopped. You can defund and dismantle all you want, but the work continues.
I think this point is really important for 2 reasons. One, when I was thinking about the dissolution of your office, I think my initial response was similar to you of like, oh, are we really here?
We're really doing this?
But it also told me something else.
Okay.
We're succeeding.
It's working. The work is working. That's what I'm telling you. People, I have not had a single tear shed. The work is working. And not only is it working, and I truly am nonpartisan, but I do recognize the moment that we're in. I have, I've been reading these statistics to a couple of people because I want to preface them before I say them so that people can understand why this matters. I'm about to give you some statistics about the House specifically.
Because that is always useful, especially when it comes with a story.
Yeah, like I've learned that you just kind of have to give people the bare facts. And because I posted a picture of me and the vice president from Essence Festival recently. And I made sure to say this is not an endorsement. I don't endorse candidates. But I did say, in the nearly 250 years since the framers declared that all men were created equal, only 3 Black women out of over 2,000 have served in the U.S. Senate, only 53 of over 11,000 in the U.S. House of Representatives, only 1 of the over 115 on the Supreme Court, with 0 of over 2,500 ever serving as governor, 0 of over 55 Speaker of the House, and 0 as President of the United States, despite the fact that Black women account for 21.5 million of the American population, and as we all know, have helped to build this country. So what I'm about to say is because we deserve to see ourselves in these spaces. I do pray that Hakeem Jeffries becomes the first Black Speaker of the House because we deserve that.
Yes.
I do hope that Kamala Harris becomes the President of the United States of America because we deserve that. And so with that being said, not only has the work been working during this little hiatus is what we're going to call it, when these 2 history and herstory makers make the change and go from ask to action, ODI will be right back, baby.
Oh, 100%.
And back and better than ever because we have continued to cultivate over this 6-month period. And so I'm excited. I feel like DEI is just getting started. I know that sounds so insane to some people because some people think our discipline is like crumbling. And I don't see it like that.
No.
I feel like we're on to something here.
And also, for me, it's like a moment to strategize. Now is the moment to strategize.
Isn't it?
Right? When we're watching the attacks, we're watching the things. So I'm a lawyer by training first, right?
Ooh.
And so I'm always...
you love Jasmine.
100%.
Oh, Lord.
100%. I was sitting there like, oh, yes. How many more of these do we have? Can we see more of them, please? Because also the challenge for me is around the law, right? Or even our fundamental structure of our Constitution is flawed. Like everybody quotes "we the people," all the things. And I'm with us, generally speaking, but I also have to look and say like, yeah, but there's a lot of things in the Constitution that didn't say I was a person.
Correct.
And I'm always thinking about what part of that do we need to dismantle?
Correct.
To truly get to vision.
Oh, you're my type of girl.
Because like this country wasn't designed for me, even though I have ancestors who were Cheyenne Indians who were here first.
Correct. And
their way of treating the land, caring for the people, caring for everything, we decided to say like, nope, no thank you. But the structures and systems that we've created don't allow for the fostering of equity, let alone diversity, let alone everything else. And yet we need to get to that space. And so for me in this moment of strategizing, I'm also wanting people to start audaciously visioning.
Correct. And I think, oh gosh, I can't believe we only got 45 minutes. I think a couple of things. So one on the strategy piece. Yesterday, there was a Black Caucus meeting, and Richard Lou Dennis, who is the gentleman who owns all of the sundial companies, we were just with him at Essence a couple of weeks ago, as I said. And so he sees me, and he sees a woman named Berncia Berry, who is the political director for the DNC, and he says, this moment is happening so effectively because you all had already planned for it.
Yes.
He said, I saw you all working before this moment arrived that allowed her to seamlessly step into the moment. And I say that because Black women have been strategizing in particular for a very long time. that Sunday, and we'll get to Fannie in a second, that Sunday when the news came out, most people know about the one with Black Women Call that Joteka, Edie, and Holly Holiday and so many others helped to coordinate. And so Joteka called me and Jasmine, were like, you have to be on this call. Like, I don't care what y'all are doing, drop everything. The Guardian, I think it was, UK reached out the next day and said, tell us how you all pulled this off in 3 hours time. And I said, what are you talking about?
3 hours.
And she was like, yeah, how did y'all get 44,000 Black women on a call in 3 hours? I said, we've been doing this call every Sunday for 4 years.
Right.
This is the call that helped Kamala Harris become the vice president.
That's right.
That helped Ketanji get her seat. That brought Brittany Griner home.
Yes.
That helped state, local, federal level politicians run for office. The strategies have been happening, but I love what you're talking about. With the strategy has to be an interrogation. Part of why our office was able to last an additional year and a half was because when I realized that the flip was going to happen, I went and I completely restructured our mission, our vision, even down to our color scheme.
Absolutely.
Our colors at first, when I inherited the office, were red and blue. And it was something that small that I had to interrogate. I said, when people see red and blue, they already see this or that.
Divide. The divide.
Our language originally was bipartisan. And I said, no, it needs to be nonpartisan. DEI shouldn't be a political issue.
Right.
Then our mission and our vision, one weekend, and a dear mentor of mine, Tanisha Agramonte, helped me read the entire Constitution.
Yes.
I interrogated it and I found the language for our mission and what in that document worked and what didn't.
Yes.
So that I could find our mission, but then also our vision.
Yes.
You are so just spot on where we need to be in this moment. And when you talk about audacity, now we got to get to Fannie about the planning. So I really, can this a camera?
Yeah.
I say this so, and I'm saying this directly to anybody who's watching digitally. And I hope those that aren't, but hear us audibly, also follow this instruction. I want for two people to do one thing. Today, which is the day that the vice president will be the first Black woman ever to accept the official nomination of a major political party. Falls on the 60th anniversary of Fannie Lou Hamer testifying in front of the Credential Committee for the Democratic National Convention in 1964, right before the Civil Rights Act.
Don't ever tell me these things weren't already preordained.
Oh, the ancestors have totally stepped in this time. I really hope that you all go and read her full testimony, but I'm just going to read one to you, and it's about her being jailed. And she was jailed during the murder of Medgar Evers. Mm-hmm. This testimony is incredible, but the biggest thing I want to read is the final paragraph. All of this is an account we want to register to become first-class citizens. Mm-hmm. And if the freedom, the Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off the hooks because our lives are threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you, Fannie Lou Hamer. And I say that this is such a historic time. And so I don't hold this credential lightly.
No, absolutely not.
Black people died for me to have this in my hand. And I really believe that we were prepared for such a time as this. And this is so much bigger than all of us. We are standing on the shoulders of so many incredible people in this moment. And I think that we are rising to the occasion audaciously, like you said. And so even our conversation, we didn't know all of these points of intersection were going to present themselves this week. But
here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. So I'd love to hear from you, and thank you for quoting Fannie Lou Hamer. What's your audacious vision?
Ooh.
Where do you want this work to go, to be, to become?
I want for everyone to just see themselves in it. Mm-hmm. You know, I know originally we were talking about how to reframe.
Right.
Can I curse really quick? I'm not reframing shit. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean what I say.
Right.
This country needs to include everyone. Mm-hmm. Shirley Chisholm, because this week is also for her.
Yes.
She had this quote where she said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, pull up a folding chair. The shoulder now is to not even make you have to do that.
No.
To scoot over so that you can have a seat, a comfortable seat where you belong.
Build your own table.
Hello. Make it comfy. Mm-hmm. You know? And when I've looked at the convention, I have seen every part of America this week. I've seen Republicans, Dems, independents. I've seen people of color. I've seen white men, white women, Black women, Indigenous, Hispanic, Asian, disabled. I've seen queer, non-binary. I've seen every type of human being possible. Excited about the promises of tomorrow as we all try to make a more perfect union. So above anything, I want for everyone to see themselves in this work. And I want for people to double down. Mm-hmm. Double down. This is our time. And I really mean that. I spent one night at the convention with a dear Republican. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is this? I posted on my Instagram, I said, an independent and a Republican meet at a bar at the Democratic National Convention and live hopefully ever after. That's what I want. I want everybody to see themselves in this work because it's enough room for all of us.
Yeah. I think the other thing that this conversation brings me to is also thinking about a shift in civility. Of the recognition that we can actually be civil to each other and don't need to use language, framing of terms, any of this.
Correct.
As divisive, but actually to care about someone else, to love someone else.
At some point, and I just haven't, life has been a whirlwind over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. In addition to the work I've done, most people know this because it's now a part of my lens on belonging through bereavement. I lost my father while going through the thick of the 118th Congress. And I haven't had a second just to sit down and process that I've been an active participant, I've had a front row seat at a lot of these moments. But I remember being in my office and on the Hill, the congressional offices, you can stream C-SPAN.
Yes.
So I'm watching from my office in Longworth as Claudine Gay is testifying. And I knew what this moment was going to mean for the work. And I remember the next week when the anti-DEI campaign really started to gain momentum, one of the statements was the scalping of her. And I was just like, wow, how audacious. But is this where we are, that we want to scalp Black women, leaders, a history maker herself, regardless how you felt about her testimony?
Right.
Is this still how we're going to treat her in this moment?
Right.
I just, the civility has gone out of the door, and it actually makes me very sad. And so that's why I model being nonpartisan. I find ways to still connect. As long as you don't traffic in hate. Now, if we don't agree ideologically on certain policies, that's fine. But if you don't traffic in hate, I am going to find a way to reach you and connect with you. And so I think right now it's a time to just model. But we're in sad times right now. We're in really sad times, even down to being adamant on not pronouncing her name right. Which is why I said my name is Sesha. People call me Sesha all day long. And some people don't mean to, like it's from a term of endearment. But to see how the intentional mispronunciation of Kamala, something as simple as not addressing somebody by who their parents named them.
Right.
You know how
I spent a lot of time thinking about my children's name when they were born. A lot of time.
A lot. And so now we're supposed to engage in civil conversation. You won't even give me the respect to call me by my name? How did we get here?
No, thank you.
How did we get here? It's a sad state of affairs, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I am so hopeful that we will move past this. I really am.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a dreamer. I don't
Optimist.
know. Yeah.
We need those. Like, let's be clear. Like, how are we going to get through all this, right? And let's be clear about one other thing. Black women are optimists.
We are.
We have to be.
So maybe we're a little bit of dumb and dream.
Let's go for the dream part. Dumb, I will never accept.
I don't
We
know.
are too smart because we've been strategizing for a very long time.
We have, and we continue to hold this country to its promises.
Its
that
highest
it sets
ideals.
us. To its highest ideals, because America is an idea.
Correct. And we have to constantly build towards it.
I'm so happy I met you. No, I'm serious. Everyone I've met this week has been for a reason.
Yeah.
For a reason. I know lifelong friendships are going to come out of this week.
100%.
Because we've all been placed strategically by something so much bigger than us in this moment. Yeah.
So the other thing I'd like to ask you is about impact.
Okay.
Not just now, but going forward. Because clearly, diversity, equity, inclusion, whether you called it affirmative action, whatever you called it over the course of time, right? And we'll probably have a new iteration in 20 years and my kids will call it something different.
Correct.
But its impact is growing, is building, is deepening. What are you enjoying about seeing that kind of impact? What examples can you give that help people, make it more tangible of what that impact is?
I think mine is not going to be something that is quantitatively measured. It's going to be qualitatively. I was thinking the other day, United States of America, President of the United States. I don't know, United, continue to pop out at me. It's like, oh, wow, you can't spell United without DI.
It's true.
You can't. It's integral into these ideals that you were saying. And so I think for me right now, where I'm seeing the impact, people that follow my career understand that my practice really sits at the intersection of government and entertainment and technology and music and sports. Because when you legislate, those are pretty much the main areas that really impact people on a daily basis. And I really understand the connection between storytelling and policymaking. And technically, hearings are just storytelling
100%.
exercises that
Oh,
people don't
absolutely.
understand.
Yeah.
I say that to say, because of that intersection and how I approach the practice, my biggest impact was bringing Congress into the community, bringing Congress into culture. Like, we have Breakfast Club at the DNC. And so we were with Charlemagne a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, you coming to the DNC? And he was like, no. I was like, why? I was like, CNN's going to be there. Fox News is going to be there. MSNBC is going to be there. We need you there. Right. We made sure that Shade Room is one of the top outlets being that has placement for interviews. That's 30 million followers. That's 30 million voices. Being a little bit more disruptive and more approachable, and really saying it should not be that you come to Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill should be coming to you. So really that has been my impact, where people can see themselves in this work. And that's why Jasmine has been such a great first client, because she trusts me with some of these activations. You know, we were at WNBA All-Star Weekend, you know, like doing State of Women's Rights right before the big game. Those are the moments where we need to, they're representatives. Yes. I know we call them congressional members, but they are representatives.
Of the people.
Of the people. So bringing your representative to you is a different model that I'm having fun with, and I think it's working, and it's having a hell of an impact. And again, I truly believe we're just getting started. I mean, think about who's in the house right now, even just the freshman class. You have Jasmine, you have Maxwell Frost. I mean, you have so much exciting energy coming through that front door that I'm actually very excited for what the 119th Congress is going to look like. So yeah.
It's the next wave of transformation.
It is.
Right?
It is.
We're setting up the next generation that is going to continue to push us further.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Talk about it.
But I love your comment on culture. So I'll give a little thing about myself first, but I think the shifting of culture is something that we often, I think as Democrats, sort of don't always maybe lean into as deeply as we can. And as you were talking about art, sports, entertainment, all those things. But I grew up, and actually my first career was a professional ballerina.
What?
So
you're a ballerina?
Yeah. Still do it to this day.
Oh.
Just lightly.
You're like an original Missy Copeland?
Something like that.
Oh my God.
I actually taken class with her once.
Shut up.
It was totally accidental. I ended up being in New York City and took class and looked over at the bar and was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, okay, I got to get myself really together today, because if I'm going to take class with Missy Copeland in my 40s, I better be at least, just.
Did you have like an Aunt Viv moment? Do you remember from Fresh Prince when you came in? Did you have like one of those moments?
Yes, where I was like, oh. And I remember because I had to go up to her and be like, thank you.
Oh.
Right? And then she responded to me on Twitter, or X now as we call it. Because I was like.
Do we call it anything?
I don't.
Are we still on that platform?
Not really.
Okay.
That was, we're talking, 4 years ago. But to think about the impact of culture.
Yeah.
And of all the ways in which we get culture.
Correct.
Right? It's not just narrative. It's not just, but your point about like qualitative storytelling.
It's food,
right.
Music, everything.
How are we effectively, or maybe need to deepen our engagement in culture to start shifting this work on diversity, equity, inclusion?
I have found for me, it has been deeply rooted in my ability to model not only audacity, as you said, but authenticity. Again, those who are watching, you'll see. But for those who are listening, I guess you can't. I have on the biggest pair of bamboo earrings possible. I buy all my bamboo earrings. I'll come in with a nice little designer bag, but I am going to get the biggest pair of 99-cent hoops from the beauty supply store possible, and a bold red lip. I find that the answer is in that. Showing up in your authentic self. And your authentic self also has to be your best self. When George Floyd was murdered, you'll know this because you're a DEI practitioner. When a lot of CDOs were starting to be hired in flux, and I don't mean this in a shady way, not everybody was a DEI practitioner. And it set our field back a little bit. It helped to allow this anti-DEI sentiment.
Yes.
I started seeing all these slogans pop up, all these things that sounded really good. And bring your authentic self to work was one of the biggest ones popping up. And I had to start to interrogate that. because people brought their authentic selves to my workplace on January 6th.
Right.
So that's actually not
quite what we want.
Quite what we mean. We want your highest self, your best self, your most inclusive self, and so even though I show up authentically, I understand that's my superpower. It's also my authenticity is deeply rooted in others, holding space for others.
So I think this is important. When I had a great conversation with Karen Finney earlier this week.
Okay, good.
She was lovely. But one of the things we talked about was like that sort of almost like mindset shift. Mm-hmm. And the one around American individualism versus community orientation.
Correct.
And I think what you're getting at is that,
correct,
right? Which is like, you can't just show up authentically for you.
For you.
You need to show up authentically for us.
I've heard people say you need to vote for your best interest. I'm not saying don't not do that, but the best interest of you and the other people around you. Something that helps your entire community have a chance. And so that, I think, as DEI practitioners, that's just part of our nature.
Yeah.
And so we fuse it into our practice. And so I'm really big on others. I'm probably to my detriment, because, a lot of DEI professionals, we don't have work-life balance. We don't take time for ourselves. We pay a cost. But I will say, and I know, I mean, you know how tired I am. Like, I don't normally sound like this. I feel like I sound like Barry White.
I love his voice, by the way, so it's fine.
But I don't normally sound this. I don't normally have this deep baritone. This week showed me it's worth it.
Yes.
This is worth it. I like every sleepless night. This is worth every single moment of it.
Yes.
I promise you. And I will sleep on November 6th. I've already booked my vacation. No, literally. It's already booked, and
like,
I did the non-refundable.
Oh, good call. So you I have to walk away.
Boundaries. Because I know myself. If I didn't do non-refundable, I wouldn't go.
Right. You'd be like, oh.
Well, okay, I
got something now.
But no, I it's worth every second of this because we care about other people.
Yes.
We care about other people. And I guess I just pray that everybody wakes up thinking about me plus we.
Yeah.
And I know I do. And I think this week has shown that is possible.
Yeah.
Did you see that roll call? Did you see the DJ Cassidy roll call? So it was fun. And did you see every part of America was represented? It was so beautifully done.
It was.
I said, this is what America not only looks like, but has always looked like.
And that's the most important part. Always.
Always. This isn't a new concept. What do we think America looked like in technically 75, even though we know ratified in 1776. In 1775, it was women.
Yes.
It was people of color.
Yes.
It was indigenous people.
We were all here. We've been here, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering.
This is who we've always been.
We just didn't give them their due.
Correct. And so I'm deeply excited. I know I'm going to be deeply emotional tonight. We're all wearing white.
Bring your tissues.
I mean, seriously, I know. And I almost feel like the weight of the last 2 years since I've kind of been catapulted into this space will probably hit me this evening. And my daddy will be with me.
Oh, good old.
August will be with me. And I also just want to, I know we're about to wrap again. I'm so sorry for those who aren't on camera, but these things matter so much. I just want to share a couple of things. So I have Shirley with us. I'm bought and I'm boss. I am not your Negro. Bring in James with me.
Yes.
U.S. House of Representatives, Penn. I'm a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Descent. And this one probably matters to me most. My father was dear friends with Jesse Jackson. And I shared a picture on my LinkedIn. I was actually on the campaign trail in 1988 for his run. And so this is the original Rainbow Coalition pin. And so I saw Jonathan in the hall at the convention. I was like, I'm so glad that your dad got his just due.
Yes.
And so I will be in there tonight because I told him, I was like, what are the odds that my first convention would be here of all places, given that y'all are such close family friends? It will be such a full circle moment for me and my family, and for so many. And so I'm pretty sure I don't even know if tissues will do it. I might need a towel, because I think the emotions are just going to come kind of like flooding in. Tonight's going to be a beautiful night. Are you coming?
I will. I aim to.
Okay.
I realize I'm probably going to be tired, and I might need to ugly cry, which is fine too.
Ugly cry. Ugly cry.
Ugly cry.
Ugly cry.
Because it is. Mm-hmm. It's one of those moments that I have kids who are at least old enough to probably remember this at this point. So they're not real young. So I'll have to tell them, right? Of like, that's what this country can be.
Come on.
So help me.
Come on.
Keep moving.
Come on.
Because by the time you're really in positions of power, I've got 2 boys, I need you to bring it all.
I don't have children. I'm a childless dog lady.
Oh, excellent. We need more of those too.
Yeah. Me and my wife, all we have is Benji. But I was telling somebody that for me, because I am nonpartisan, at the end of the day, I just need for you to vote. I need for you to get engaged, civically engaged. I need for people to vote for your kids' future, because they can't.
Yes.
You have a responsibility in this moment to help forge their futures. And so enjoy tonight.
Yeah.
Enjoy tonight. I feel like when President Obama, when that moment happened, we were so just in a space of inspiration that I just think we were swept up with the excitement. I think that this history-making moment, we're in a very different place. I think everybody is fully conscious of
how much work we need to do.
Correct. Of what this moment really means. And so lean in, be present, allow yourself to have all the feels, because we deserve it.
The other thing is, our kids are going to hold us accountable.
Oh, come on now, because especially this new generation, they love a receipt.
Every day.
They'll be like, who this?
So were you?
Because in 2000, I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And I want them to do this for us.
They hold us accountable. They hold us accountable.
And we need it.
I'm so hopeful. I really am. I'm so hopeful. I saw so much in that arena last night, and one of the biggest things for me, because I work in the seat of a lot of these discussions. When I saw, this is how I knew that inclusion was real. Mm-hmm. When I saw so many voters come in with their keffiyehs.
Yeah.
And I said, but you even know that in this place you can protest.
Right.
You can hold space for your humanity. That was one of the moments that really struck a chord with me.
Yeah. Because we've created enough safety for also the dissent.
For also the dissent.
Mm-hmm.
For also the dissent. I saw democracy in this convention hall all week long. So thank you for having me in the Democracy House to talk about it. Oh, that was good.
I will ask one closing question.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, come on, goodness.
Like,
I'm giving you the alley.
I know, but I got to ask you, what do we need everybody else to do?
Read Project 2025.
Okay. And know what we're up against.
And done. That is the assignment. Mm-hmm. Read it and then go vote. Yes. If you read the document and then you say, oh yeah, I want America to look like this. Okay. But I implore you that if you really read, and I know it's 1,000 pages.
It is worth doing.
It is worth. We have 75 days. Read 20 days. A chunk. Seriously, yes. I think it is a moral imperative that you read that document, because I promise you, there is a part of, maybe not you, but there is a part of someone who you love, whose life will be worse off from at least one page in that document.
That's right.
I promise you. So lean into others as you read. Mm-hmm. Read Project 2025 and then vote, and figure out what you need to do to be registered to vote. Mm-hmm. Not only registered, make sure that your voter registration isn't expired. Right. Understand that you understand what the voting requirements are to even cast your ballot. Make sure your addresses line up so that there's no reason for people to discount.
That's right.
Understand early voting, absentee voting. I need for people to read and then register.
It is your civic duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Moon, thank you.
No, thank you. This is so good.
Wonderful.
This is so good.
Thank you for all that you've done.
Oh.
And I'm looking forward to what you do next.
Oh, thank you. That's humbling. Okay. Thank you.
It's only the beginning.
Oh, thank you.
So we got more to do.
All right. Let's
Do
get
it
it
together.
Next time we're going to do this over drinks.
That's fine.
Okay.